Well, another year, another fringe, quiet in the corner, Peter Duncan.
Sorry.
And we're yet again slaughtered at the Abattoir. Now, not that I wish to rake up or old nastiness or reopen old wounds, but I had invited Paul Sinner along tonight just for a friendly chat because I kind of felt that. Well,
national paper covering you having
national
a
paper,
might
yeah,
be,
national paper coverage, and he did call me a sociopathic bully. Now,
you've been called a lot worse.
I've been called a lot worse, but this is the thing, Al. From any other comic, that's just an insult. That's fine. Paul Sinner has a medical degree, so it's practically a diagnosis.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just wanted to check if there were any good drugs that I could get, possibly a disability
I
badge.
think you probably have to talk to different comics for that.
All right, okay, okay.
Paul can't get hold of them like he used to.
Marvellous, but Paul's not here. Luckily, we have from opposite me, Alistair Barrie. You can say hello.
Hello.
What remains of Peter Duncan?
Yeah. Half of him is here.
Yeah. Still alive. It's quite incredible.
The left half is here.
Yeah, nurse. I think he needs his oxygen again. Nina Conti.
Hello, I'm here.
And Luca. Sounding less than enthusiastic. Can we have another pint from Mrs. Conti, please? Liven her up a bit. And Luca Cupani.
Hello, yes.
Hello, yes.
I'm happy.
So, the reason I have handpicked you...
Is we were available.
Well, to be fair, that's absolutely true. But once plans A, B and C fell apart,
Yes.
there's plan D.
It was a late call.
Yeah, I know. Well, to be fair, Mr. Duncan, your PR,
Yeah.
the fragrant Kevin Wilson,
Oh, fragrance.
phoned me up and said, I can't get the Blue Peter guys arrested. What can we do about it? And this actually, apart from occasioning your invite along here tonight, gave me the idea for a theme, which will obviously fall apart as we all get shit-faced.
Is
and
it Blue
start to
Peter
talk
presenters
rubbish.
committing crimes? That would be wonderful.
Well, that would take a long time as well.
Have you committed
I'm
any
thinking
crimes?
the ones we don't know about, maybe.
Absolutely. No, it's about... One would think that given that you are practically a national treasure, even if only of archaeological interest, that the press would be all over you like a rash.
Yes. And why aren't they? I don't know.
I have no idea. We're going to
He
fix
was
that
coming here
tonight.
to find out the answer to that
And
as well.
of anyone, I mean, Nina, obviously, you're batting them off with a shitty stick.
I'm not doing much. I'd like to do more because I've got such a good costume this year.
Because it must be, do you ever get the kind of, oh my God, that's my house gone up the Swanee when you come back to the Fringe? I mean, you've got to fill the bloody McEwen Hall.
I know, it's
a barn.
terrifying. I know, that made me feel horrified on day one.
Really?
When you came, it was so hard to justify that greed. I felt like such an untalentless, greedy twat with all these people. And so days 1 and 2, I just pounded that show so hard trying to make it good. I had a mini breakdown, and then on day 3 I thought, I gotta give a shit less, and then I started to do good shows with a lighter touch.
How big is the McEwen Hall?
Oh, it's almost 1,000. It's 800 or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they told me if they...
800 people
Yeah.
at a fringe festival.
Yeah.
It's not that fringy, is it? No. Come on, let's be honest.
It's a bit
There are at
greedy.
least 700 of them I could have. I think
That's absolutely true.
Perhaps you could share them all around to us.
So
So,
sorry.
yeah.
Because I remember back in 2004, because you can have it, someone can do a room and you fill a room, then you can't go, oh, bloody Nina Conti's turning up and doing that. You can fill a room, The worst one was the Pleasance, 2004, which is still the most miserable year I've ever had here. The Pleasance did a best-of show in the Pleasance Grand, which takes, I think, 900, at 9 o'clock in the evening every night. And we had, it's the closest I've ever seen to comics going on strike. Because Howard Reid got nominated the year before, he was getting single figures. I proudly remember I did a show, I was on 8:15, I did a show to 2 people and overran, which I was quite proud of. But yeah, that was, and then they said, oh, your flyers aren't working. You're like, no, you're putting on a best of show, and it had, you have Reg Hunter and Adam Hills, Perrier nominees and winners,
All under one
and
thing,
in direct competition with their own acts, and then started stiffing it. But it's a very, and I'm obviously I'm joking, but trying to blame other acts for coming here and taking audience is not. If you can get if we're all trying to get audience in. If you can get audience in, you can't slag someone off for getting audience in.
But 2 people is a badge of honour, surely.
Oh, 2 people is definitely a badge of honour. It's better than cancelling it for no one.
Well, there's a wonderful thing. I think a full house, lovely. But if you're not going to have a full house, then you need 5 or less, because that makes it kind of special. It makes it something.
No, that's kind of dreamy thinking. Going, honestly, I've made this. We've all had great shows in front of a couple of people where you fuck about. But if I could have, my room takes 120, and if I don't have 120, I really don't want 4.
How many do you want?
119, ideally.
Right. Okay. Fair dues. I mean, what? Oh, you were saying that you, because of the, it's all going very well, and people know you. You kind of you must bring your own audience with you.
I don't know who my audience are. I love them and bless them. I've not got much TV. I do a radio show up here quite regularly, so breaking the news, which is great, and I think that brings people in. This is my 8th solo show. It's a great venue, Free Fringe, and I'm very proud of the show. So I seem to be getting sold out the first 2 days. I'm not quite sure where they come from, because there's a lot of shows and a finite number of people. But I'm still not entirely sure, but I'm fucking delighted they're there.
Do you? Well, actually, no. You, she said, pointing at. Feel free to tell me to fuck off and mind my own business. But it's a bit different if you're coming up in a play production, because are you on a wage? Are you on
I'm on a wage for the Blue Peter show. Yeah.
So you don't need to. Whoever is losing money up here, it's not you.
No, that's not in my nature. As an occasional producer, I'm working very hard to make them money as well, so they can afford my very expensive flat and wages. But the other show I'm doing, The Dame, that's just me and my daughter really coming up, looking for an audience of 2. We'd be happy with that, really. No, I'm lying. It's not going to be that bad. I haven't opened yet. Open tomorrow.
Oh, right. Oh, my God.
What am I doing here with 2 whiskey sours? I'm
absolutely. And now Luca,
yeah,
he is still here. He hasn't said anything. You're in the paying venues. You're in one of the big 4 for the first time.
Yes, the Underbelly, the Wee Coup. I don't know how to
just
pronounce.
Say that again.
The Wee Coup. I don't know how to.
That's exactly how to pronounce it. It's beautiful.
It's a lovely venue. I like it.
It's sweet.
I like it.
But are you kind of like bricking it in a way that you weren't last year? Because if you're in a free venue, you're not going to lose money on the venue, but if you're here, you could suffer a crushing financial loss.
I consider that people spend money to go to the Maldives, for example. Mm-hmm. I, let's say, decided that this will be my honeymoon to the Maldives in the Scottish summer, and then I'm happier in the Underbelly because I can get more audience. So it's true that if you go to the Free Fringe, it's so easy to break even. But last year I did a one-off at Angel Comedy Club in London, and I got more people than in almost my old run in the Fringe. So I thought, why should I have to go all the way in summer in Edinburgh for a month, and then I can see more people next to my house. So I prefer to be in front of a new audience. Also, there's a difference when someone is ready to buy a ticket, so commit. I feel guilty in a way, but also I'm pleased. And so I think, okay, this might be my market, because one day I would like to even make money out of comedy. I've heard
you're
someone,
ridiculous. I'm sorry.
I know, it's just a dream. I'm Catholic. I have these high hopes for the afterlife and the current life.
Did you ever want to do straight stand-up, or was Monk always there?
No, I like doing characters when I was an actress, and I know because I've chosen, I think, a very dull me as a default me. I mean, unless you know me well, I'm too shy to be funny, and so these other things really help. And so, but I think being the monkey, which I am this year, I'm inside a monkey suit, that did satisfy my feeling for wanting to do stand-up, because monkey's more me than I am, and I just felt like, okay, I'm me now, I can do stand-up. And so I was doing a full hour in that suit in London until I started to like lose oxygen, and I thought it was a bit too much for this. Also, I did it at the Underbelly in London. It was misadvertised I would be doing my normal thing. I went on for an hour as monkey, and I got letters asking after my mental health. Like, had they gone mad? They didn't see Nina Conti. Was that Nina Conti? Is she okay? And they wanted their money back.
I haven't seen you for a while, but I remember last time I saw you when you basically did the thing where your hand ended up being the puppet and you totally got rid of monkey altogether.
Yeah.
And it was brilliant. And with all due respect, I questioned your mental health then, because I was going, she's clearly just the fucking monkey, and that was,
She doesn't know the puppet's not there.
No, but to me, that seemed to me you stripping it all back already. So
yes,
that was kind of what I've always thought you've done with Mum.
Yeah, but it's different when I'm not even visible. It just feels more pure. I'm in him. I mean, it feels like he's the only thing.
Can I have to tell you a story that you might not entirely like? I did meet someone on the circuit the other day who had to follow you at Reading Jongleurs. Oh, well, it's no longer Jongleurs, the Comedy Loft.
Oh my God, that was such a wild night.
Oh, right. Basically, they'd advertised it. Nina Conti, the woman who can fill the McEwen Hall, advertised at
800 people or more.
Reading Lofts, which used to be a Jongleurs. It's basically an indie band venue. I've played it in every guise over the last however many years. It's not the easiest room. It's quite a rough room. And
it's terrifying.
Yeah.
We were terrified. I was doing a double act with Chanel Allen, who's one half of the production.
But the compare says, right, so it's sold, despite just being a regular comedy night, Nina's come to do work in progress, but it's sold as TV's Nina Conti.
Yep.
And then in the middle of so the opening's normal, MC, first act, and then in the middle of the show, this monkey walks on, fucks about for 20 minutes, and goes away. And then the whole audience are like, we don't really know what that was. Because no one had told them it was work in progress. And apparently the compare then had to go on and go, oh, by the way, that was Nina Conti? The whole audience were like, that's somebody come to fucking see.
No, yeah.
And then I think it was Danny Ward basically had to he went, oh, really? It was one of those gigs I walked on and I thought, I'm either going to die horribly or I'm going to save it. And I didn't save it.
Was that the gig where someone told me that two women asked for the money back because they'd come to see Nina Conti and they didn't see Nina Conti?
It could have been that one.
People are so fucking stupid sometimes.
Yeah, but to be fair,
it was a really great gig. I mean, I was terrified, and I was there with Chanel. Do you know?
Yes.
In the pajama. Well, we do an act called Monkey and Roy. We went in and thought, oh my God, this is horrible. What are we doing here? And then Chanel somehow we just thought, oh, we've got to look at this like angry-looking skinhead guy and think, what's going to light him up? How do we reach his heart and make that guy smile, in a way that is horrible? And then Chanel went on, and he started doing this sweet little dance, not even speaking, and fucking everyone loved him.
Yeah.
And we were just weird, and it was like, oh my God, you don't have to be like a hard ass to do those rooms. You can be.
I got threatened with getting stabbed in that room at a Christmas party once.
No, but you would go in like happy and sweet. They peculiarly liked it. And we did the weirdest shit for half an hour. I don't know what we did.
Do you... Because you've now played all kinds of spaces, obviously not the McEwen Hall, which I think we've established is an arena best kept for
I've
major
done the
television.
Lyceum Theatre, darling.
You've done the Lyceum
No,
Theatre?
but that's the thing. If you're me, which is like a not famous but established circuit act, I've done the Lyceum Theatre. I've done two people at the Edinburgh Festival. I've done the back of a flatbed truck in Afghanistan. I've done a mountain in. You just play everywhere, and I'm not going to sell out the Lyceum. But if they want a good MC for a charity gig, then they might get me in.
Because it's everybody's fighting for press attention, reviews, everything. Obviously, unless you're certain name comics that aren't quite ready right at the start. Nina was,
Yeah,
but others
you're
weren't.
asking us about this, and you're the chief critic on the Scotsman. So you're the one whose attention people are fighting for. So you've probably got a better perspective
Well,
than we have.
they are, and Nina, you're kind of an easy sell because your TV's Nina Conti. You know,
I'm not telling much, mind you. Though.
You know, but at the very least in Scotland, you're that lovely Tom Conti's daughter.
Yeah, I got that.
Such a nice man, loved his work. Your mother's a lovely
My mother
actress.
loves Tom
And
Conti.
haven't you done well for yourself? So that's it. You're one of us. You're what's left of Peter Duncan.
He was in Flash Gordon.
The other half has just arrived. Just
Marvellous,
arrived.
excellent.
And
You
the
know,
whole
Blue
person.
Peter, iconic, all the rest of the things that you did, Daredevil.
How do I fit in, is what you're saying?
No, I'm
Oh,
just
no.
saying that at least you've got a hook. You know, you've kind of got it's not quite a USP because it's an SP shared with everyone else in the Blue Peter show, but you've got you can imagine the sales pitch.
The seance pitch.
The sales pitch,
I
yes.
thought
When you
it
go,
was-
oh, no, it's
I thought we were
marvellous.
gonna
It's the Blue Peter
have a
presenters. Who knew any of them were still alive? Isn't it marvellous? Blah, blah, blah. You are fresh-faced, Catholic. The show's all about Catholicism.
Wow.
Winner of So You Think You're Funny.
Years ago, yeah.
Now, as I watched your show,
Me.
you, Alistair,
Right, yeah.
and I wanted to go and see Al's show because I think he's a really great comic. And as I was sitting watching it, I may get fired from the Scotsman for this because it's something I'm not meant to do. I was thinking, well, it's a really nice bloke in a smart suit, and he's talking about Brexit, and he's talking about Me Too, and he's talking about Trump, and you're going, how the fuck? I know you don't have PR, but you just go, how the fuck would I sell this? There's nothing.
No, but
There's
then how the fuck would I be?
absolutely nothing.
How the fuck would I be a topical stand-up, which is what I do, without talking about Brexit? Me
No.
And as I say in the show, I've got to be fair, I've got almost no Trump material in there because he is beyond parody.
But you know, I was just sitting thinking, Edinburgh is all about fighting for space and fighting for this. You know, there is no USP to this show except that as I sat there, I just realised I could not imagine it ever being done better. So you've got 5 stars from the Scotsman.
Oh, well, that's very nice to hear.
shut up now.
Yeah, I'll just.
It was just perfect.
Well, that's very kind
It was,
indeed.
you know, there was absolutely
that was coming.
none of it.
No, it's the only reason I came, to be honest, to find out.
There was none of it that could remotely have been improved on, in my humble opinion. But that then kind of is, because everybody's up here with a gimmick.
Yeah, but I
that-
don't have a gimmick
Well,
because
except-
I'm a 20. This is my 20th year as a stand-up comic. I've worked harder on this show than any other show I've ever done. I do think the world is in a state of flux, and I'm a topical comic. And if I'm going to stand up and go, oh God, Donald Trump's got orange
Yeah.
face and small hands, you can
No.
watch any open spot will be saying
Yep.
that. I had to look at a structure. You know, part of my show, as you know, is going, oh God, he's against Brexit. Of course he's
Yeah.
against Brexit. But actually say Brexit represented hope for a lot of people. Trump represented hope for a lot of people. And I can't suddenly get in a fucking monkey suit.
Wow.
You know, I mean, I could do, but I wouldn't do it nearly as well as Nina does.
Yeah.
And I certainly wouldn't get people in the McEwen Hall
But
to watch it.
it's part of, I think it's part of the sort of frustration. You, Alistair Barrie, have made me frustrated
Well-
with the entire Edinburgh Fringe because you go, well, you know, it's Well, your USP is that your show is pretty much
You
perfect.
said, what could I say? I had a joke that I never made it, but the Genie Yashere used to have that joke, if I want to get on television, I'd have to shoot Lenny Henry. And I was saying, if I want to get on television, I'd have to shoot the entire Have I Got News For You team, all of the Last Leg team, Miles Jupp, Marcus Brigstock. And I'm never going to say white middle-aged blokes are victims, because we're fucking not. But you try being a white middle-aged bloke trying to get on telly.
Yep.
I watch people who've never done topical comedy in their lives get on telly because they go, you know, I mean, no, for instance, I imagine you've been asked to do topical shows despite the fact I've never really heard you do topical jokes.
No, actually.
No, really? Well, I would have thought, because you're a naturally brilliant performer, but do you know what I mean?
Thank you. No, I mean, I'm not. Yeah, I've not been asked, but I think it's because it's weird what I do, and it wouldn't.
As you, or
Well, as me, it'd be a disaster. And with a puppet, I did one once. I did QI, and everybody had to look at a granny. And when you're sitting, and it's not you talking with the puppet, with just a friend.
Yeah.
That's painful. That's too weird when you're not. When it's not you speaking, it's not your context.
Maybe you're a bad example, but you know, I've always watched you and loved your work. But my point is more that, I mean, I remember you and me driving to a gig in Swansea in about 15 years ago or whatever it was, Jason Whitehead doing a I always remember because Nina, who was a very beautiful woman, was wearing a skirt that was perhaps a little shorter than was sensible for a stand-up to wear, and there was a stage which was quite high, and I've never seen a more excited bunch of undergraduates in my life. But my point being, excellent comic. There are great young comics coming through who I watch, and who, a lot of them have never done a topical joke in their lives, but Mock the Week or Have I Got News will go, they're the hot young thing. And I do get frustrated because I've spent 20 years writing jokes about the news, so I wouldn't mind having it. And I write for these people occasionally. They come to me and ask them to write. I can list the number of people on Mock the Week that I've written for, and I'm kind of like, could I have a go at that?
Yeah.
And I have lost track of the number of shows that have said you'd be perfect for this.
but
I've also been told twice in the last year that I'm too old for certain shows. And I'm 46 and I'm...
It's terrible getting old, isn't it? I hate it.
Don't look at me when you say that. No,
I'm sorry. Well, you're the
You're
only one here
disgustingly
who's
youthful for
remotely
someone I watched on
comparable in
children's
vintage
TV.
to me.
I find it's a very interesting debate because I think whether you're stand-up, whether you're an actor, whether you're a presenter, it's the important thing is how you keep it interesting.
Yep.
And the way you keep it interesting is not by repeating yourself. So if you've done something and you do it again and again and again, a bit like you know, you lose your mojo a bit because all you're doing is repeating. So all these people, as they're talking about doing something slightly different every time and moving it on. And, and I think
it is
that's
one of
what-
the things about Nina.
Yeah.
She's one of the most consistently creative. No, honestly, there's like always something different. Anyone who had Monk, and then, I mean, what, is your gran died? I loved your gran. She had her gran as a puppet at one point. She just keeps, now she is.
Rob Cowdery just
Monkey
kept
is her.
spit, and that was it. Didn't move on.
Because
That was the thing.
I mean, you are a man of many parts.
Well, yeah, and I
Most of them
romance
still working.
about the stand-up thing because I don't think it's that. We were talking about the old days of variety when you know, this is 30, 40 years ago when people actually did tour the halls and their acts were crafted by repeating it and doing it in different towns and things. And I suppose as an actor, I've always felt on the fringe because my parents were variety people, so I grew up with summer season and pantomime. So all that old school.
What did they do?
Oh, my mum was a singer, soubrette, played principal girl, principal boy in panto. My dad was a kind of producer, and he was called in those days it was called a light comedian.
Ah, right,
I never
yeah.
knew that meant that you weren't really that funny, and you just kind of did the kind of the start up and introduced the real funny person. But he was a light comedian, and you know that's the world I grew up in. So going to be a really straight actor, which is how I started. Tell me if I'm starting to get boring because actors
it's
can
all
be
right.
very
I'm
boring.
glad someone shut me up, to be honest.
So I started very straight, and then this Blue Peter gig came along, and I thought, you know, that's like harping back a bit. It's live TV, it's real. You have to perform all the time. You're doing different stuff. So I feel I kind of went back a bit to the old variety days, and you know, and then that stopped, and now I'm in this sort of world where I'm doing my daughter's play. I'm doing a spoof Blue Peter show, which actually I think, I know you haven't seen it yet or reviewed it, Kate, but I think it is
She
kind of
gives out 5 stars very freely, so I really hope
only if you're good. But it's experimental, and that's what I think Edinburgh should be. And I was talking to somebody today, somebody very important. They were saying, do you know, it's not as
names. Who was it?
No, I can't say that because they're very important to me. But but they were sort of saying, do you know, actually, it's not as progressive as it used to be. It's actually, a lot of it is quite safe, she was saying. And I don't know if that's across the board, but this is someone who's come to Edinburgh for years and years and years, and they thought it wasn't as cool as it used to be.
Oh, well, you can't be cool because you might upset someone.
But Edinburgh's massive, so you're going to have, people are going to be safe in what they do, and you do get, it's become this behemoth of so many, frankly, you can't go and play McEwen Hall with something you're not sure about. I mean, of course, I'm sure you weren't. Sure, but I'm sure you weren't sure about day one. But I mean, that comes back to what you had the argument with Sinner about. Which actually, when you put a post on Facebook saying these fucking big acts refuse, and I came back at you and went, no, it's nerves. I know my show that you've just told me you've given a great review to. If you'd come on the Saturday, would not have got a 5-star review. I felt I hit it on Sunday when you came in, because I knew you were there because I welcomed you.
Yeah, but you're on the free fringe, Alistair.
Yeah.
You're on the free fringe, and you know it's a little bit rock and roll, and you're standing there going, all right, I think this is worth 10 quid. Put it in the bucket. You are not.
I've actually just put my prices up after.
Right. Okay, so
Yeah.
it's 15 quid, ladies and gentlemen. 15 quid.
Yeah.
If you're thinking about going to see Alistair Barrie's brilliant show, I just think that the Fringe is meant to be. Okay, it's not anymore. You know, a flat playing field. We're all in it together, and if we're not, then we need to start giving a fucking name to the bits that are not equal.
Yeah, but the whole thing's not an equal business, is it? The whole thing's not equal. And I think, I mean, on the bottom line on that subject that you were talking about, is I was with Paul 100%. You know, you don't feel ready when you come up to do a show, and you're putting your life.
You fucking should.
Well, no, you've driven up for fucking hours. You've come up. You don't know if the show quite works. Everything previous. You shouldn't be ready. I have to be ready because I haven't got all the PR behind me.
Well, exactly. And if you have to be ready, why shouldn't all the rest of them? Nina was ready. All right, maybe even Nina wasn't ready, but it was brilliant.
The thing about this, about being a performer, is that I don't think the audiences, the punters, actually realise the level of graft that goes into this kind of preparation, and the idea that you know, this bit of insecurity that you have actually makes you work harder up until your first performance. You've got a new dance, a new gig.
Yeah. I think it's so to do with, it's like sporting. You have to let go in order to be good, but you can't do that. And you care. True. And it's your life, and you're thinking, oh, you care. And all these people left their individual homes and put all their coats on and did it, and they're all sitting, they all came. And then how can you feel worthy of that backstage? I mean, it's just, and you have to do it with a light touch. So it's like somersaults in the mind just to get over that, I find.
Yeah.
It's not, running around. I can't remember.
Is that how you feel, Luca?
Well, I'm never completely ready because what I like of comedy, you can never say, oh, I'm very young in comedy. It's my fourth year.
Fourth year.
You can never.
Can I just say the first year Luca came, he was at the Free Sisters.
Gothic Room.
At midnight. 30, half past midnight. And he'd only been doing comedy for about 6 months. And he didn't know that you could do the same material night after night after night.
But then you will never have got better quicker. So it's a wonderful thing.
But after a week I started repeating, of course, because I couldn't keep
you repeat?
them.
Oh, none of us repeat. Oh, dear.
I'm hoping to go back and see Alistair next week and see a whole new show.
2-star.
Absolute rubbish.
But that is, as you say, about keeping it fresh. That is the nature of the conceit of stand-up comedy, as I've just thought of this. Of course we haven't just thought of it. But also, I don't know about you, but there's certain acts who get their stuff and they nail it down, and that's how they say it, and they learn how to say it. I have jokes that come in and then they almost wither on the vine, so to speak, because I record all my shows because if I say something that I wasn't expecting. But do I listen back to them? Nowhere near as...
I record them all too, and I hate the thought of ever listening to them.
I record and I don't want. Well, I sent to my fiancée. She said, "Don't send me those files anymore, please." Because
Have you got a phone? I've got a phone.
yeah, I recorded the phone. I sent it there. She said, "No, she will come. I will listen live. I don't want." And I understand. I wouldn't listen to myself again.
It's tedious, isn't it? You just like me listening to myself.
I find that
again.
really interesting that you all record your shows
And none of us
and you
listen
never
to
listen back.
No, because it's bad.
It would be just torture, and yeah.
But it is also, I think, as you come up to Edinburgh, which is when we normally write like an hour-long show, it is a really good discipline to. I filmed the last few previews, and I have to force myself to sit down and do it. But it is a really good way of getting it in your brain and working out what works.
But if you say a funny thing, you don't forget it. You don't have to write it in a note. If you say something
you mean,
and there's a big laugh, it's in you.
Yeah.
See, it's interesting in a place, the play that Katie wrote, people generally cry at the end of it, which is obviously the opposite to what you do in Make a Laugh.
Yes.
So you set them off with a few sort of pantomime, damey type things, and and you're tumbling along for about 15-20 minutes, and it's it's where's this heading, But obviously in a tragedy, you want to turn the corner and get people to engage with the character and the heart of the tragedy. And if you get them, and I suppose it's like comedy, the first few gags, you get out, you've got them, and then you can kind of freewheel and you're on top of it. And I think it's the same with tragedy. If you just catch them out and something in you turns into something that they weren't expecting, and they can't help but join you, and then they believe in you, and you got. And at the end, Tim Vine came and saw it last year, and I know Tim from Oldham, and he came round at the end, and he's sobbing. And he thought that was my life story. I said, Tim, it's a play. That didn't happen to me. I'm just kind of relating.
It's called acting.
Yes, it's acting.
One of the, people...
I love Tim.
Sorry,
people, everyone hears a live performer, but live is different from live telly.
Yeah.
Did Blue Peter go out live, or was it
always live? Yeah. Wow. And do you know, I was thinking today, because in the Blue Peter show we show the famous elephant clip.
Oh yes.
And now I've watched it about 20 times in a row, and of course what I realised that it is comedy genius, but not rehearsed, not
tried.
tried.
A show in the Gilded Balloon at 7:20.
Oh, is it? Oh, right.
Yeah.
But the star of it is not Jan, Val, and Pete. The star of it
is the elephant.
Is the keeper.
The keeper.
Oh, the keeper
behind it.
The keeper is the man that you begin to watch because he is in deep trauma. He hasn't got his stick. He can't hit the elephant to stop it. So that's why shit pisses, pulls everybody over, and why Nope starts going into Frank Randall and says, "Oh, it stepped on me foot. Oh, heck, And but this is not rehearsed.
No.
This is.
But
live.
there's
and you watch it like Laurel and Hardy, you think this is genius, but it wasn't meant to be.
But there's a real.
That's how I always describe stand-up is, and I think because I went to drama school, started out as an actor, and I always remember just once when I just didn't know what the fuck I was doing on stage. I was playing Laertes, and I just suddenly the words were coming out, and I was kind of going, I guess this must be what acting really is. And I think the phrase always is Douglas Adams talks about this bit in one of the Hitchhiker's books, and the secret is the secret to flying is to throw yourself at the ground and miss.
Yeah.
So if you do that, you find yourself bobbing above the ground, and if you at that point think I'm flying, you're fucked, you're down.
Yeah.
And that is what. I mean, and I'm at stand-ups, we've all had it. You know that amazing gig where you're flying and you fuck it up slightly and you can't take off again? We've all had all levels of that. And I think when you're acting as well, you're just in it. It's just,
because you started as an actor.
Yes, I trained as an actor. Then I moved here to do acting, and I couldn't. I still try. But
the problem is he sounds Italian, but he looks Polish.
I couldn't get in. There was a
And
commercial
he's
for.
trying to work in England. That's a terribly
Yeah,
bad idea.
yeah.
Right
there was
now.
the commercial.
Especially post
52%
Brexit.
of the
Brexit's
audience voting
coming.
just
I
turned
was
off
so
immediately.
scared after Brexit when the hate crime towards Polish people were more frequent. I thought, oh, I need to speak out loud because you need to let them know I'm not.
Yeah, because if you're getting beaten up by an EDL member and in the middle of the punch you go, I'm not Polish, I'm Italian, it's not going to fucking help,
But
mate.
no,
to be honest.
no.
But also in Italy, when there was the European Championship a few years ago, I was in my hometown and there was Italy versus Germany and Italy won and I went in the street to celebrate and people start saying, oh, auf Wiedersehen, fuck off, German. I said, I'm Italian, what are you? I mean, I'm one of you. It's not, do you think I'm celebrating my defeat? But they don't get it. So yeah, so I moved to stand-up. I like stand-up. It's so much, you can be an exaggerated version of yourself, and I like this fact that you can never get bored because you never know how to do it. At least I don't think I can keep doing this for 30 years. I will never be sure before a gig if I can do it because it might go wrong, and that's the beautiful.
I feel that's what has never tempted me by it, is there it feels like so many variables of who you are and your face can give away all kinds of vulnerability at any fucking moment. So like let's get a solid monkey face and let the audience work out what they want it to protect it. I forgot my monkey at one of my previews.
Oh,
The little monkey, the big monkey I was going to finish on. So I had to go on and do stand-up for the first time.
Wow.
And I only noticed that I didn't have the monkey seconds before, and I remembered he was on the Monopoly board on the table because I've been playing Monopoly with my son with him, and I was suddenly like, oh my god! And then I was like excited.
So you're playing Monopoly with
the
your
monkey.
son and the
and
monkey.
There were three of us.
So it really is a
Monkey
proper psychological condition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Back at, oh wow.
so you win
Is the monkey
easier.
part of home life?
Monkey is the shoe in Monopoly. Yeah, I mean, he's a bit of part of home life with my youngest
It's
son. yeah.
why her husband was her ex-husband was heard to say there were three of us in this marriage. You know?
No, sorry. So you're not with Stan?
No.
Oh, I didn't know. Sorry, because I knew Stan.
Oh, hello. Oh, it's
Oh,
all
right.
right.
Shall I? Do you want me to? Do you want to? Shall I?
No.
Oh, sorry, I didn't realise that was. Oh God.
Right,
I was
moving
married to
on.
someone else when I first met
Yeah,
him.
no,
as well.
moving on.
Sorry.
No, that's entirely my
So
fault.
the monkey really did take over. Okay, that is fair enough.
Oh my god. Wow, I didn't expect that to come up in the podcast.
I feel like a stand-up now. I feel like I'm sort of been initiated.
Yeah,
That
you're
happens
riffing.
after 1.5 whiskey sours.
Yeah. No, you're riffing, Peter, riffing.
That's good.
But you know, Luca shows about Catholicism, really, which you might have thought was a bit of a downer.
It's a rich area.
Yeah, it is.
I
I was
go
going
to
to say.
church on Sunday and I pray every night.
Okay.
I'm a severe. I'm not saying the terminal stage of Catholicism,
Severe,
but
yeah.
severely
The- Luca-
not so. Yeah. Well, no.
Now, since we've laid your personal life bare, United, Luca has just got engaged because he and his gorgeous girlfriend couldn't cope with living in sin.
Well,
Because we do like to commit some sin at some point. I mean, it's better than holding.
So you weren't living in
I can't see if there's
We are in
a
the
twinkle in
next
They're
his
year.
eye.
sinning.
be-
They're sinning
There's-
on a fairly regular basis.
next year. Well, not so regular.
Oh,
because
sorry.
Could I? This is in my show a bit about this, but I'd be if you're a committed Catholic, yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think of the new Pope?
I quite like. We get one good pope out of 5, let's say. This one is the good one.
1 out of 5. So when was the last good one?
I would say it's Pope John the 23rd.
Wow, you
Yeah,
are
here we go.
As a
Oh,
way,
yes.
as a way back.
before the one that you had killed. Okay, well,
The white
I was
smoke.
fascinated, and I genuinely mean this as someone who's fascinated by religion, because I think religion is a human need, even though I'm an atheist. The Pope recently announced that hell no longer exists.
I was so shocked because I based my life
What
on
he said,
hell.
what he said is that he didn't. Then it was brilliant because we're talking about press. Then the PR department of the Vatican had to
Yeah.
kind of. And my take on it is that it's a bit of a sea change from 2,000 years of Catholic doctrine to go, oh no, we just made that up for shits and giggles. Because they got rid of purgatory, then they've got rid of hell. But what he said now, the actual, because my director made me look it up, the actual quote is, unrepented sinners fail to exist, not hell. So if you're like me, we're all sinners, that's clear, But if I haven't repented, then I just cease to be.
Yeah,
rather than going to hell. I just want a bit of consistency, and I feel that may not be it.
Luckily, I think hell was reopened after that statement.
Like a nightclub or something.
Because I didn't...
Rebuilt, refurbished.
After some refurbishment.
They were
Like it should
removing...
be an Edinburgh Fringe venue where they've decided to put something else on in it.
Probably it was refurbished. They were making hell health and safety compliant, removing cladding. I'm not sure, but I would say that I was upset with that interview because I thought, come on, it's too easy. So Adolf Hitler just disappears, and if I'm good, I have to sing some praise of God in Latin forever, and now who's gonna get the reward? So I'm glad to think that hell is still there somehow.
Which one isn't there? Is it limbo or purgatory?
Limbo was closed.
Oh, they got rid of
limbo is
purgatory, wasn't it?
Purgatory. That's
Purgatory
the worst.
went.
What's
Limbo.
different from hell and purgatory? Sorry, Dan.
Purgatory is where sinning souls go, but they've still got. They start. It's like a junior hell,
But forever.
No, purgatory.
No, it's not forever. You go to a...
purgatory,
Oh, no,
and then
it's
when you've been there long enough, you're exonerated
so
from
once
sins,
you are in
then you go to
purgatory,
heaven.
it was invented.
It's like a bus stop.
It was found out by an Italian pope because only Italian people looked for a middle ground between hell and heaven, something where you can safely arrive, do some kind of punishment, and then you just move towards
Wasn't there
heaven.
also, sorry, and I may be utterly wrong here, wasn't there also, because if you were an unbaptized baby who died,
That
you
was
went
the
straight
limbo.
to hell.
That was close.
Luca does mention
Too
this
many-
in the show.
Too many complaints. It was a huge kindergarten with billions of toddlers and few Greek philosophers looking after
Well,
them.
that's
so
a dangerous
yes,
Yeah.
you wouldn't. We had a lot of complaints, and finally limbo was closed, as far as I know. So we just have hell, heaven, and purgatory for Catholic, probably, and that should be all of it, as far
I
as
mean, it's much more simple. I know, Nina, your name is Conti. You must be a left footer.
Yeah, my father's Catholic, but so angry about it.
Okay.
He's turned his back on it. But it's funny because limbo. The only reason I know about limbo things because he baptised me over the kitchen sink in a sort of last-minute panic. Oh, but there might be limbo, and we'll have to baptise her. So he
Really?
did it. So I'm not going to be there.
Oh my
But
goodness.
safe.
I'm not baptised. Because I come from a long line of Methodist ministers, which is the most tedious denomination of Christianity. And my parents who were not, my dad has faith, but they decided not to baptise me. They wait till I was old enough to make the decision myself, which is a very odd. I'm still quite surprised they did that. It's a very open way of thinking for my parents. who
I think
wouldn't do that.
my parents just kind of forgot to get me christened, which I think is going to come as a so I'm going to hell, which will come as a surprise to
Catholic.
no
Well,
one.
you know,
No, Proddy.
Ronnie.
Well, my dad's parents were Scottish Methodist, and
Oh, full on.
I know my gran.
So not a drop of alcohol in the house. How you've changed,
Well,
Kate.
I know. I felt I was doing it for the good of future generations. But no, my gran, who was an amazing woman, but she knew, she didn't believe, she knew that she could tell a Catholic at about 200 yards because they have wee Catholic eyes and a wee Catholic mouth, and wee Catholic eyes are smaller and closer together than Protestant eyes, and a wee Catholic mouth is kind of like the wide mouth frog thing, and it was just.
Oh, it's
she
good to
knew
know
that.
this because I thought it was all made up bollocks. But
No, it's fact, Al. Fact.
That's good.
Absolute fact. And also, my two best friends when I was really wee, that means small, were Frida Corrieri and Roisin Lynch. And my gran used to say, "You've been to see that Frida Corrieri, haven't you? I can smell it off you."
Oh.
Incense, was it?
That would be the one. The smoking handbag, as we refer to it.
But did you go to a Catholic school or a Protestant?
Oh well, apparently there was. That was the thing. When you came from Paisley, which is where Nina's dad came from, anyone like my generation or older, if you meet someone from Paisley, they'll say, "Oh, you're from Paisley? Oh, fantastic. What'd you say your name was?" And I'll say, "Copstick." "Oh, yes," which tells you nothing. and then they go, what school did you go to? Which is you Catholic, you Protestant. Because if you're Catholic, you go to St. Margaret's. If you're Protestant, you go to John Nielsen. I, of course, went to the Smart Kids School, which was Paisley Grammar, which just happened to be all Protestant. I have no idea why apparently there were no really clever Catholic children in the entire catchment area, but there weren't. But it was so sectarian. It's all about, what are you? Like, does that...
Well, no, I just remember hearing my dad talking about it. I mean, being called a dirty wop on the way home from school and stuff like that. But I mean, there was war back then, and his mum was ready with a boiling tub of water to pour out the window because they were trying to keep people away from the shop because the shop was going to be kind of...
It is really, like the west of Scotland is really sectarian.
I got a joke in my show about, there is a joke about, because everyone does jokes about Trump being orange, and I have a joke about Theresa May being propped up by the Democratic Unionist Party and saying you're about to find out how much trouble an orange man really can cause. And a woman came out of my show yesterday and went, I like the orange joke. And there's that.
That was the only one.
Have you seen Trainspotting 2? It's
yes.
A very, very unusual to be such a good sequel to such an original. But it's very rare I have found myself howling in a cinema. I mean, properly howling when the Renton and Sick Boy characters end up singing a made-up anti-Catholic song. And I think I don't know because it's not my background.
Please, Luca, he doesn't really mean
when
it.
you look at Northern Ireland and Ireland as a whole, the Catholic Protestant, we all knew about that, even though we're not taught enough Irish history in schools. But up here, I think there's a slight element that it's not as known about until you come and then find it happening and then go, it's really just as bad.
Oh, if you've ever been to Glasgow,
yeah, exactly.
let alone Paisley, when the Orange Walks are on.
Is it an Orange Walk? I thought it was a march. It was the walk and nice of it.
We had the Orange Walk.
Turn the drums down. It's
and
walk,
that was,
this one. And the Orange Ramble is very nice. It's beautiful.
The Orange Meander.
Yes.
And of course there's the gay version, which is the Orange Skip. But the only time my gran ever shouted at me was when we were out in Paisley and there was an Orange Walk. And it's horrific. There's all these people marching like their faces like granite chips, especially the women and the children. Got the white hats on, and the whole town just stops.
Yeah.
I didn't really know, so I thought, well, this is very boring. And there was a gap between one lot of granite chips and another lot of granite chips, and I went across. My gran gave me what we used to refer to as a scalp and said, you don't break an orange walk. And it's like...
May I ask, what is the Orange Walk about? Is that a procession?
Okay.
Oh, here we go.
All right. As a Catholic, you are essentially... No, sorry. There was a... Well, you tell... But I'm the Englishman telling people this? This is ridiculous.
Yeah, on you go.
The Orange Walk...
I'm just hoping that people will start to hate you instead of me.
No, I'm just... You can correct me if I'm wrong, but I went to a wedding in Dublin and I insisted everyone went to the Battle of Boyne Field, and I met the friend who I went with and went, well, at least we know about that battlefield now, because I like history. Battle of the Boyne, which was in that year. It was when the Catholics and the Protestants...
Long time ago.
Yeah, but it wasn't really American Pie. Stop me if I'm confusing you. It was when the King Billy won... Basically what meant... why am I doing this?
I'm not.
Sorry.
Anyway, what it is...
I just suddenly out of the corner I saw Nina going, I'm glad it's not me. Right, fuck this.
So it's
the Catholics versus the
name,
Protestants.
Yeah, his name was William Orange.
Orange.
It's orange.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when they beat everyone in the Battle of the Boyne, the Orange Order haven't quite got over yet, so they still march about, or in Kate's parlance, walk and piss off all the Catholics in the area. If you ever see someone walking towards you banging a big drum with an orange sash,
Yeah.
they're not
Run.
on your team.
Yeah.
I think the root
They
problem
probably think you're Polish or German.
Yeah. That is when you say, auf Wiedersehen.
Yeah, that's. I should practice some accent. German
Yeah.
accent would be good because it could be Protestants. I should.
That's true, yes. Yes. Now then,
Nice.
what I'd really like to do is kind of stretch this out for at least another round of free drinks.
Right.
They're on the way. Marvellous. Al's down. Do you need another
I'm
bottle?
now
I
looking at what
crunched
I've...
I know.
Well, I'm starting to feel like the alcoholic here, so...
No.
Can I get a whiskey sour for the bloke from Blue Peter? I've never said that. I'm really excited.
Have my
about
third
this
drink. Yeah.
So
No,
now,
not you, Peter Purvis. I want to.
we're going to do a little bit more revealing talk here.
Yes, I didn't do Catholicism, did I?
No.
I was trying to
We're
chip in,
talking
but, you know.
Blue Peter and
Yeah.
Play School here. On Blue Peter, was it really the AFMs and the behind-the-scene people who did the makes, rather than all you wildly overpaid presenters?
No, there was a woman who was a requisition called Margaret Parnell, and she had a shed at the bottom of her garden, and she and Biddy Baxter's day came up with the makes, and then they would be delivered to the studio, and we would obviously read our script and we'd learn how to make them. And
And then you'd say, "Here's one I made earlier."
you
I remember
would
seeing her interviewed on a programme. Yeah. She seemed very unassuming and basically going, I did everything, but I didn't like to make a fuss of it.
She was quite terrifying, Biddy Baxter.
Oh, not really Baxter, the woman who made the stuff.
Oh, the woman who made the makes.
Yes, they were probably both terrible. I can't remember Margaret Parnell, but certainly Biddy had an edge
He
to
was
her,
all,
really.
a drug-addled haze back then, was it?
No, not. I couldn't possibly reveal. I wasn't on my
First
whiskey
time
sours.
the first time I ever really saw live the effect of cocaine on a human being was in Play School.
It was snowing.
Well, no, we did, because I was a Play School presenter.
You were a Play School presenter?
Oh,
I did know that.
hello?
I did
Sorry,
know
hello,
that.
is that the
Sorry,
Scotsman?
I did.
You know those 5 stars? Cancel
It was
them.
hidden.
Cancel them.
We have
You and
history.
Jeremy Irons.
Don't
we
you
go back.
know who I am?
Yeah, I know exactly who you are. Okay.
It's not printed yet, the review.
No,
I know. Oh,
But it's
my
recorded.
Yeah, but, all I need to do is go over to
Yeah,
Donald
yeah.
over
All right.
there.
Do you know what? I've got to 20 years without a 5-star review from the Scotsman, so if it's going to get taken away from me now, I can fucking
no,
cope.
So, yes, I was a Play
Just-
School presenter for 4
No, you
years.
weren't. Right. Did you start as an actor as well?
Yeah,
Because that's what everyone. Is there some weird. Jeremy Irons Play School?
yeah.
Yes, he did.
Where is
Yeah,
he now?
yeah.
Yeah, he did Play School.
Yeah.
He was in New York, long day's journey into. Yeah.
Absolutely. But we did.
Here we all are, sat around and
Blue Peter actually went out live. But because children's television had no budget, and preschool children's television had less than no budget, Play School was recorded, but it was recorded in real time.
Yeah. So it was the same as.
So there was the only thing you could
No
do.
close up for Big Ted.
The only thing you could do, guys could get a retake if they undid their flies. And went, oh my God, I don't know when my flies are. But pretty much all you could do would be to try and make yourself uneditable and swear
To get a retake.
to get a retake. Because otherwise there was just no money for it. And so everything was timed, so you did a run through, then you went off and had something to eat, and you came back and recorded. And it was, whatever it was a BBC half hour, which was 24 minutes or something. So we did the rehearsal. Can you see what I've got here? That's right. I've got 2 baldy comedians. One's called Al and one's called Luca. Can you tell which is which? Anyway, so you did that one, and
One's Polish,
do you know what I'm
the
gonna?
other's. Yeah, right.
I'm going to make 5 stars here, or maybe less. And there was always a song or 2. So you rehearse everything. So we rehearsed everything with a band, and the bands were brilliant. and the musicians were brilliant. But on this particular occasion, I'm not going to tell you who the band was, but the band they'd been about a bit. So we did all the songs, we did everything, it was fantastic. Off we went for dinner, and the band went and had something other than dinner.
Right.
So we came back, and there we go. Can you tell what I've got here? That's right. I've got 2 baldy comedians. One's called Al, but that was all great. And we go through everything, and at the end, cut, thank you. And then there's all this, and then you get the floor manager going, can you just hang about a bit?
Yeah.
What happened was, the band had gone off. They'd had a bit of a dance with the devil's dandruff
Yes.
in the interim.
As bands do.
Thank you. The songs, 3 songs,
Double the pace.
had got double the pay. They'd taken a minute and a
into
half off the running time of the show.
Wow.
And I was like, I'm liking the sound of this. But no, it was wonderful. It was so much fun, and it was because again, I don't know about Blue Peter, but all the producers and whatnot, there were all these utterly charming, lovely English ladies who I remember. I was in Story Corner. And I did this whole story, which I had to do to camera, one take.
It's like Crack Alley, but
And I was,
different.
and I was telling a story about a boy called Tiggs. And Tiggs was a boy who had lumpy pockets. And he liked to push his hands deep into his pockets to feel the lumpy feel of all the things he had there. And there's not a titter.
I think I saw that one.
Thank you. I thought it was a high point of my
to be honest,
career.
It was about my
Did you write
pockets. I
the
was slightly
test,
disappointed.
And no. It was all. And so nobody knew the producers and all that. You could hear they're all lovely. The floor managers are. Cameras are locking off their cameras and going off into the corner of the studio
Giggling.
to snigger.
Yeah.
But nobody saw. No, that's not the lumpy feel of all the things he had there. And
I want it. Can we see it?
it's just wonderful. I mean, there was
Is
the.
it on YouTube? That is the beauty of the modern world,
Yes.
surely.
There is the wonderful one with Carol Chell. And, oh God,
Did you know each other back in the day?
a little bit.
We used to do these Christmas shows where everybody
Yeah.
kind of crossed
We did, like,
over.
you know,
It's like they kind of scooped up.
Yeah.
Play
all
School
the-
versus
yeah,
Blue Peter,
yeah.
everyone going fight,
Yeah.
fight, fight.
Hated them. I hated them.
Yeah, Blue Peter, yeah. Too big a budget, yeah.
But there was a classic thing of Carol Chell and somebody else, and they're doing a thing where they were pretending to be furniture, and Carol was the table, and somebody else was the chair, and then whoever the male presenter was sitting on the chair and having breakfast. Lovely. And he said, "Oh, I've knocked over the jam pot." And Carol uttered the famous words, "Oh yes, it's all warm and sticky and it's running down my leg." And as they say, it's pretty much all on YouTube now. That's the thing; nothing goes away.
No.
Have you got anything on YouTube of you yet, Luca? Apart
Yes.
from that very personal take.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, yes, I have. Yes, I have things, short movies that I'm not proud of and stuff. Yeah. No, some of them I'm proud of. Others, no, I don't watch them anymore. But yeah, no, I have stuff. Yes, and some old stand-up. You know, when you just started and you think, I know how to
When
do
I
it.
just started, YouTube was not an option.
Well, exactly.
That's
So-
sometimes better.
But
because
but YouTube now, everyone has it. The one thing I have on YouTube that everyone has seen is 2013. I was doing Spank, and I wasn't drinking for the whole month because I wasn't doing this podcast, and I was on at 3:30 in the morning, and this very drunk heckler. they'd filmed me, they'd asked for me to do it, and I'd said, all right. And then there was a really drunk guy who'd been an idiot all show, and I dealt with him, and I dealt with him again. This took 12 minutes until the girls he was with punched him, and then he was about to punch them back. It was quite awkward. And then, luckily he didn't, and they left. And this was all filmed. And it was me dealing with a heckler. I don't know that it's a great clip, but you have no control over stuff like that. It's the most watched thing.
Most embarrassing thing or most watched thing of you on YouTube, Peter?
Well, it wasn't quite on, no, not YouTube really. I mean, the worst thing that happened to me, I suppose, the best thing that happened to me is that I'd been on the programme about 2 months, and I went down to my local newsagent, and I just happened to glance at all the headlines, and it said, Blue Peter porn star. And
I remember seeing that.
The gorgeous, lovely Daily Mail had decided, because I'd made this movie about a year before, which had it's an art house film, but they decided to make
Was it in black and white?
It truly was. Funded by the British. See, I'm defending myself. Funded by the British Film Foundation. Pretty good film. But
Red Triangle,
I'm a bit.
remember that.
Not backed by this. And I get to the BBC because we've got a live show at 5 o'clock, and I'm standing in the breakfast queue getting me eggs and bacon, and all the chippies are all slapping me on the back. Oh, son, good on you. And they go about midday. They're going to work out what they're going to do because clearly I'm an actor. I've done a film. And it's not a porn film at all. It was funny. I was sort of my credibility.
But if you go on YouTube,
exactly.
If I'd have been,
YouTube,
I would have been trending if it had existed.
Yeah,
then.
Nina, any kind of bestiality with monkeys hoo-ha on YouTube?
Gosh.
Now, you see, I could just have opened a can of worms there.
Sorry, the Nina Conti
It's an idea,
We're going to hear
What,
about
the monkey meat? Oh, God, it's gonna be...
I hope this isn't creepy. But I do
that's not a great opening, is it?
No. Monkey is really very attractive, isn't he?
Is he attractive to you?
Yeah, he's just got that face and his big eyes.
He's a dude, come on. He is a dude.
I mean, I don't fancy him, but I think I noticed that girls react to that.
Yeah.
And when I'm in him, I mean, like, there's a bit in the show I often say,
There's nothing sexy about it. When I'm in him, there's nothing sexy.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. There is pretty much live monkey sex on stage.
I mean, it's a very, because you've done your research on vents and stuff, but I mean, the Freudian ego id, super id, and monkey's your id, isn't it?
I think you'll find it super ego, not super
So,
id.
yeah, well, you're all right.
Yeah.
Do you know what?
I'm
It's
not
a bit
sure
later
what
in the
the letters
podcast.
are. Yeah.
Id is like your all right, over
bit.
to you.
No. Yeah, no, but he's your id.
Yeah.
He is my id, but that's the thing with being him fully. I just wanted to fuck everything. It felt a little bit unjustified. I mean, that's
Especially in front of 800 people at the McEwan
Yeah.
Hall.
Yeah.
Take forever.
Although apparently it's very similar to a movie that Peter was in earlier on.
There were 800 people in there.
You'll never
now
present
then.
children's TV again.
Tragically, we're going to have to bring all this huge
I
fun.
think it's probably about
You know,
time.
we haven't even. I promised Peter that we'd drag his daughter in here to talk about the play that
She's rather
written.
pleased you haven't, I think.
Right, okay.
But
so,
you've talked about it. What time is it on? Where is it?
It's
Yeah,
on
so
at the
what's-
Dome.
hello.
Oh, sorry.
Hello,
Come on.
Alistair.
I don't care. You
Whose
told me
fucking
you'd give me 5
podcast
stars,
is
I'll
this?
do what I
Right,
want.
what we're going to do is we're going to
Is
go
rescind my
around,
review.
and then because all of your PRs have failed miserably
I don't have
to
one.
promote your shows
Okay.
successfully, you're going to do it yourselves.
Right.
And get a refund from your PRs.
A refund.
A refund,
What's
sorry.
the difference between that and a refund?
Well, it's about 3 espresso martinis, Alistair.
Down the front of your
So
head.
you can go first.
What, am I promoting my
Yeah,
show?
you're promoting your show, your
No need, I
5-star
already
show.
have a 5-star review in the Scotsman. Thank you very much.
So where and when and
I'm on at 3:45 at the Liquid Rooms Annex every day apart from the 15th, and it would be a delight to see any of the listeners there.
any of the listeners, hello. Now, Peter, you're doing 2 shows.
I am. I'm doing
You greedy,
once on
greedy
Blue
boy.
Peter, which is the Assembly Rooms, $2.50 every day, and then I should say more importantly, that would be a terrible thing to say. Equally important is my daughter's show, daughter playwright. It's called The Dame, and it's about our family history. Katie used to work in a women's refuge, so there's a story about kind of a child abuse attached to it. So it's a serious play.
And you play what?
I play a pantomime dame at the end of a performance who deconstructs. I'm sorry, it's got so serious.
It's about child abuse. I play a pantomime dame. Hang on.
No. He is the abused.
Right. Okay. I'm sorry.
And I think she's brilliant. And I say that because it's my daughter, but it's a lovely thing to do. Father-daughter relationship, and it's on at the Dome in George Street, the Dome restaurant.
All right.
And it's on 8 p.m. every night except next Monday.
Okay, now if there
And
are...
I'd like more than 2 people to come and see it.
Oh yeah, please do go. The Dome in George Street.
Fine. And I show it
Now,
to,
if there
show it to
are-
the microphone. Look.
Oh, look, right, he's showing you the flyer. If there are an odd 800 people here that, or listening rather, who feel like flocking down to the McEwen Hall, this is a message to you from Nina Conti.
I'm going to be there at 7 p.m. every day. Oh my goodness. Yeah, come. I'm better than I am on this podcast.
She's brilliant. It's wonderful. Well, she's all right. Monkey is fabulous.
Yeah, watch out.
And
He's
last but
horny.
not least, with full blessing of God, the Pope, and anyone else.
Yeah. I'm doing the show at 5:20 p.m. in the Wee Coo, the Underbelly.
Just say that again.
Wee Coo. The name is God Digger. Every day, no day off.
No day off because God gives you day. What about the seventh day?
Well, the Sabbath.
Yes.
He is God. He doesn't have a budget for the fringe. I better work every day.
Excellent. And we will be back here next week. Excellent. Now, oh my God, Peter Duncan's just got
Well, he wants me
another
to drink
drink.
it.
It's my 3rd whiskey, so I'm opening 2 shows tomorrow. I'm a fool to myself.
Wow, there we go.
You're
We're just going
drinking
to
Where
carry
is
on
your
drinking
daughter that
here.
you're just drinking?
But the lovely
The blonde
Donald,
one.
who's on technical hoo-ha, needs to get home to his bed. We'll
Oh,
see you
goodness
next
me,
week.
it's
Thank
not
you very
bad.
much to Alistair Barrie,
Thank you.
Peter Duncan, Nina Conti, and Luca Cupani.
Ciao, thanks.
Arrivederci.
Arrivederci.
Au revoir.
Ciao.